Hello, Blackhawks Nation. Welcome to the Blackhawks Daily, your favorite recap of the daily buzz around your Chicago Blackhawks. I'm your host, PJ. Thank you for joining us and uplifting and supporting the Hawks as they head into their centennial season. Lots to cover for today. What a weekend for Chicago sports, right? We had Hawks playing twice. We had the Cubs winning twice. We had the White Sox winning in massive fashion against Washington. And the Bears. Last minute comeback. Love it. Love it. What a weekend for sports. So let's dig in to the top four topics of today for the Blackhawks. You know what? Last night, I don't know if you caught it, but St. Louis Blues, what a game. The Hawks showed some serious fight last night, clawing back from a 2-goal deficit to beat the Blues 4-2 in St. Louis. This was Chicago's second preseason game, and despite early trouble, what a way to make a statement. And let's talk about how it all played out. So in the first period, Blues struck early. Dalibor Dvorsky ripped a shot past Spencer Knight, make it 1-0. Chicago tried to balance the pace, couldn't find the equalizer. Knight had to make several saves to keep it within reach. In the second period, the pressure kept building for St. Louis. Just 53 seconds in, Braden Shen scored to double the lead. It felt like the game might tilt toward the Blues. The Hawks were chasing, but Knight stayed solid, making a few timely stops. And then in the third, you didn't have to watch the first two periods. The third's where it's at. This is where the magic happened. First of all, a person we really haven't talked about a lot, Dominic Toninato, absolutely changed the tone, right? He snapped a wrister from the circle to get Chicago back on, get their first point on the board. And then just 27 seconds later, Toninato turned, instead of a scorer, he turned a provider, right? On a loose puck, he caught the goalie. He went behind the net. The goalie was out of position. Both were driving for the puck. He got it, put a nice pass right on the tape to Gavin Hayes, who was streaking in, buried it, right? Freaking awesome. And then the big play that everyone was talking about, Colton Dach in the neutral zone, absolutely levels, with a clean hit, levels a Blues player. Oliver Moore grabs the loose puck, goes in, beats one defender, and snaps it right by the goalie, which became the go-ahead goal. It was a beautiful goal. A little bit of a timeout there because they were trying to figure out, if the hit was legal and all that. Moore put a beautiful goal in. And finally, Jason Dickinson sealed it with an empty net goal late. So we walk out 4-2 winners. The surge was complete. Standouts and players to watch, well, first of all, Spencer Knight, right? He was a wall. He stopped 31 of 33 shots, kept Chicago in it as they dug themselves out. Dominic Toninato, that fourth line, got things going. He had a goal and an assist. He was in the right spots, didn't back down. Oliver Moore, speed meets composure. That go-ahead goal was aggressive, confident, and a shift that many will point to when deciding roster spots. So good on you, Moore. On the flip side, some defensemen had some rough spots. Ethan Del Mastro was on for the Blues' second period goal and had some defensive lapses. He'll have to sharpen up. Not to come down too hard on him, though. I did see he had a couple of very nice poke checks, but overall, he's got to work on it, right? Korchinski and Allen pairing didn't really stand out much. They weren't bad, but I don't know. They didn't really assert themselves either. And for the youngsters, those moments matter. Like you want to make the roster, you got to put it out there. So what does this game mean moving forward? Momentum shift, right? Coming back down 2-0 to win shows a lot of character. That's the kind of thing coaches will lean on in camp. Line chemistry tests. The Toninato, Hayes, Mishiak group deserves a hard look, even though we're going to talk about some cuts. So don't know if we're going to get the hard look anytime in the near future, but those guys did play very well together. Defensive tightening, Chicago's blue line still had some growing to do after St. Louis. They'll need to polish the structure, and they'll need to get some decision-making on point there. And goaltending confidence in Knight's performance bodes well for his case as an NHL-level option moving forward. So, and small note, this rivalry still means something, right? The Chicago-St. Louis rivalry has seen hundreds of games since 1967. And when you beat the Blues, even in preseason, it carries weight. So Freaking fantastic job, boys. That was a lot of fun. And it was just a lot of fun to watch them crawl back. All right, moving on from there. We also had a game tonight. Minnesota. And the Blackhawks showed up big. Nazar had a hat trick. Kaiser played so well. Let's talk about that. So after 2 preseason games filled mostly with prospects and bubble guys, the Hawks rolled in up in Minneapolis with a lineup that looked a whole lot more like what we're going to see on opening night, potentially, right? Donato was out there with Teravainen and Burakovsky and Bedard. Burakovsky, Bedard, and Donato were a great pairing tonight. Teravainen played really, really well too, but we'll get into that. So it really showed, though, right? These guys playing together well. It felt like a regular season tilt against a division rival. It was fast. It was physical. Honestly, it was the best effort we've seen this season, right? So far, this preseason. Detroit, St. Louis, woo, right? That was good. They fought back. Tonight, though, against Minnesota, all 3 periods, they played really well. They looked like they came ready to play, and it was awesome. They just carried that momentum, clearly, from last night. Also, Drew Commesso got the start in net, and for the first 10 minutes, he could have kicked back with a coffee, right? Minnesota didn't even register a shot. On the other end, Nazar flying. He made a sweet little backhand dish to Wyatt Kaiser, and moments later, Hawks went on a power play, and that's when things started clicking. Bertuzzi keeps the puck in, dishes to Teravainen, who threads the needle to Nazar on the back door. Boom, 1-0 Hawks. And yes, it was something to see. It was friggin' awesome. Donato, Bedard, Burakovsky, they looked good. They looked dangerous. Donato even rang one off the post so hard it bounced all the way back to him. And let's give a shout out to Nolan Allen, who was throwing his body around early and often. Levshunov led the team in ice time that period, looked sharp. The Hawks controlled play and out attempt Minnesota 18-8. That's the kind of effort and energy and start we've been waiting for. The second period, early in the second, Nazar again takes a pass from Bertuzzi at full speed, rips it, goal number 2. That speed in transition is something that this team has been lacking, and Nazar looks like he's got it all in his back pocket. Minnesota did get one back off of a bouncing puck and a nice setup from Pitlick to Height, but overall, the Hawks' young blue line actually looked really poised tonight. They carried themselves really, really well. Levshunov and Kaiser, they logged some big minutes. Allen continued throwing his body around, and Korchinski had some smooth exits and breakout passes. So after 2 periods in, Chicago's still in control. After the first 7 minutes of the third, a bit dicey, right? Or for the first 7 minutes of the third, it was a bit dicey. The Hawks were stuck kind of in their own zone. And then Alex Vlasic left the game after one shift. Hopefully it's precautionary. It looks like a leg, but hopefully he's not out for long. But this is where it kind of got fun, right? Bedard's line hit the ice, goes to work. Burakovsky keeps the puck alive. Bedard makes a very nice, pretty sick backhand feed to Donato, who buries it 3-1. And then later in the third, the Wild cranked up the physicality. No surprise there. But Kaiser stepped up huge with Vlasic out. He played more than half the period and was a monster defensively, including a goal-saving play alongside Rinzel on a penalty kill. That penalty kill, the Wild pulled their goalie. They had the penalty kill. They were down 3-1. They pulled the goalie with like 2 minutes and 40 seconds left, 2 minutes and 30 seconds left, somewhere around there. Rinzel, they crashed the net. It's 6-on-4. They crashed the net. Rinzel splays out, kicks his right leg out, and basically blocks the puck with his skate. And at the same time, Kaiser's diving in, also trying to protect it. Both those guys are from Minnesota, so I guess they're playing in front of the home crowd. They wanted to make a good showing. They made an excellent showing. It was awesome. Saved that goal, and basically really kept the momentum going. It was beautiful. And then when the net was empty, because the Wild kept the net empty even after the penalty kill was over, Nazar completed a hat trick. First full NHL preseason game, hat trick. Not a bad night at the office, right? So let's just say this. Wyatt Kaiser, what a signing, right? He kind of waited till the last minute. We were talking about him. We've wanted him this whole time. he really played really well. For a young kid, he played really, really well. 25 and a half minutes of ice time, 2 assists, played a shutdown role in crunch time. He looked like a guy who's ready to be a part of this team for long term. I mean, he was awesome. Frank Nazar, what can you say? 3 goals, right? He's oozing confidence. He's looking like the breakout that Davidson hoped that he would be. Drew Commesso really played well. He was calm, cool, stopped 16 shots in the third alone with Vlasic out, and he locked down the win. And as I mentioned a couple of videos ago, I had an opportunity to talk with the goaltending coach of the Admirals, and I was asking him about Commesso, and he only had very good things to say about Commesso, and Drew really packed it up. I mean, he played really, really well tonight. And this is the kind of game that you build on. Back-to-back wins. The vets looked ready. The kids showed up. And for the first time this preseason, you can feel the identity starting to take shape. If this is what's to come for this season, let's go, right? Like, these guys played really, really well. So I was just really high on it. It was wonderful. So moving on from there, let's talk about who's not actually making the training camp right now, right? The training camp has had some pretty big cuts in waves over this past few days, so let's talk about that. So there's some movement from the Fifth Third Arena as training camp enters its next stage. The Blackhawks have made another round of roster cuts, shaving down the list, giving us a clear picture who's still in the running for an opening night spot, who's heading back down to Rockford or elsewhere. And so let's chat about it. The most recent waves of reassignments came after the Hawks' back-to-back preseason wins over St. Louis and Minnesota. As reported by Chicago Hockey Now, these names were reassigned to Rockford. Jackson Cates, he's a steady depth center who saw some NHL game time last year. Gavin Hayes, one of the more exciting long-term wing prospects. He'll need more AHL seasons, but I'll tell you, in St. Louis, he buried that pass from Toninato. It was beautiful. I mean, the goalie never had a chance. But Gavin Hayes, he's gonna work on some stuff. Martin Misiak, strong tools, just not quite there, even though he had a very nice game in St. Louis. Stanislav Berezhnoi, solid showing at prospect camp, but Rockford will give him reps behind Commesso. And I don't know if you've ever seen Berezhnoi in net, but he's huge. He's like 6'4", 215 pounds, I think. He really should be playing defense, but he's a big old boy. So he's gone down. And then add those to the earlier batch of cuts. Paul Ludwinski, Tage Harding, Dmitry Kuzmin, Ryan Mast, Kevin Fitzgerald, Andrew Parrott, and Brett Seney, who was released from his PTO. So that brings us down to roughly 36 players. The NHL roster maxes out at 23, so yeah, there's still some more tough decisions to come. And as it goes down, these are tougher decisions to make. So there's a few key takeaways here from these cuts. So let's break it down. A, defense is tight. There's a lot of young blue liners who are heading to Rockford. That means guys like Renzel, Korchinski, Allen, Del Mastro, even Matt Grzelcyk still being evaluated at the NHL level. Expect probably at least 2 more defensemen to get cut or slashed soon. Goaltending picture is a little bit clear. Berezhnoi heading down means that Spencer Knight and Arvid Soderblom are locked in as your NHL tandem. Knight looks strong this preseason. That gives him a real shot to stake his claim as the starter. Commesso is going to be a quality starter down in Rockford. He's also going to be a quality backup if we ever need him. And as we know, our favorite ghost parolee, Laurent Brossoit, he's out for a while, had another hip surgery. So I don't even know if we're ever going to see him in a Hawks sweater, but we'll see. And there's no room for the middle of pack vets, right? So guys like Brett Seney didn't show up enough to crack the veteran heavy forward group. With players like Slaggert, Moore, Green, and Lardis still in the mix. Lardis. Youth is clearly getting the priority. That's exactly what Kyle Davidson said would happen. So here's what to watch for next. So there's 2 preseason games next. Big test against St. Louis again, and a real battle is happening on the bubble. Also, we got another one against the Red Wings. Landon Slaggert and Oliver Moore are pushing hard for bottom 6 roles. So let's look for that. How the defensive pairs shake out, especially the battle between Wyatt Kaiser, Nolan Allen, and Matt Grzelcyk. After tonight, Well, actually, Allen and Kaiser really played well. So maybe Grizzlies on the bubble. And then whether or not someone like Lardis can make a late surge before final cuts. Lardis has all the tools in the world. He's just a little on the smaller side. So I don't know. They get a little beefier. He's going to be awesome. And that's the latest from Hawks camp. So the roster battles are heating up. The clock is ticking. More cuts are coming soon. We'll keep you updated every step of the way. So let's keep talking about that. And let me know in the comments who you think should crack the final 23-man roster. But maybe not, because as you know, this is going to be my last video until probably you're seeing this on Monday. Probably not until next Monday or possibly next Tuesday. Actually, it will be next Tuesday because I don't land back in the US until Monday night. So you will see we'll probably see the first video on Wednesday, actually, after I catch up, try to battle jet lag. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. I'll try to get on as soon as I can when I get back. Let's get to your hot takes. First of all, and let me do that. First of all, we have Lester 701, the Commander, the ultimate repeat offender. He says, PJ, I hope you and your wife have a great trip on the book tour. Have a great weekend. Thank you, sir. We will see you once we land back stateside. Al Brown 9609, new commenter, says, depending on how much the contract is or equals a draft pick, which could be possible #1 pick, don't do it. Next year, Kanserov has become a highly skilled player in the KHL and is filling up the score sheet. 1 year left on his contract and had an impressive year for a 19-year-old. Thank you for that, Al. Agree with you. Kanserov has done fantastic in the KHL so far. He did great last year. He's lighting it up again. When you have someone like that on your roster who's just waiting out in the wings, it kind of gives us a little bit of luxury to kind of wait for him to come in. So I get what you're talking about, and folks, Al, he's talking about what we would do. Like, would we trade for one of the free agents that are out there? You know, all that kind of fun stuff, all the speculative stuff that we like to get into. Al, thank you for your comment. I'm with you on Kanserov. I think he's a great guy. Swoop 187, OG 187, repeat offender. Swoop is a very mindful and intelligent man, and he writes a lot. So I can't read all of this, but I beg you to go read his comment because he's just talking about what we should do. Would we go for one of these? You know, would we go for Kaprizov? Would we go for McDavid? Would we go for McTavish, right? Like, does it make sense to make a trade this year? He lays it all out beautifully. It's just too long for me to read. But thank you, Swoop. Your input is always actually really spot on. Very, very smart. Why aren't you coaching somewhere? That's what I want to know. Ernest Eason, I always say it wrong, I guess. 7979, a repeat offender. He's a great commenter as well. He says it's 30 wins or bust for the Hawks this season. Dude, I think we're going to get, I agree with you. We have to at least get 30 wins. I think we're going to be closer to 40 wins. That's what I feel. I'm feeling energized tonight. It's really, really good. So that's what I hope for. Sam T. Zuriel, welcome to the channel, Sam. Realistically, McTavish, he will not break your bank, talking about who we might trade for. And actually true, right? He's probably the low-hanging fruit out of those guys. He's a low-hanging fruit for us. He'd be awesome to be on our team. All right, he's still young and very, very talented. And who wants to play in Anaheim? So thank you for that, sir. And Joe Atkins, 9793, another new commenter. Love all this. Love that. Thank you, guys. What's your wife's name so we can check out her books? My wife, you know what? If you want to check out her books, go to karatheauthor.com. Just karatheauthor.com. We are going on this book tour. She wrote a book about her cancer battle, all this other kind of stuff, but you'll see it all there. The 40 books that she's written, the 2-time USA Today best-selling books, they're all on there as well. Rom-coms, romances, it's a lot of fun. And she's the rock star. So thank you for asking that, and thank you for allowing me to talk about that. Kara with a C or even with a K, but KaraTheAuthor.com. Check them out, and if you guys want an autographed copy, let me know. I got connections. So that's a wrap for today, Blackhawks Nation. If you're new here, please remember to like and subscribe. If you are subscribed, thank you so much for your support, and also for sharing about this channel. We're getting into the season. We're getting about to kick off the centennial season of the Hawks. It's going to be freaking amazing. For all my repeat offenders in the comment section, please keep them coming. Love building this community with you guys, right? You're the ones who actually make this fun. I'm just a dude talking about the Hawks. You guys fill in the color out everything else. It's really awesome. Thank you so much for your feedback. Thank you for checking out the Blackhawks Daily Download every weekday as we celebrate this original six team, the best team in hockey, with the best fans in all of sports, in the best freaking city in the world. I'm going to validate that because I'm going over to Tokyo, I'm going over to Melbourne, Australia, I'm going to Sydney, all in a week, and Yuji, Japan as well. All in a week. I'm going to be exhausted, but Chicago's still the best place, clearly. So thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate it. I will see you. We're definitely going to cover the puck drop October 7th in Sunrise, Florida, when we walk out of there with a win, because they're going to be too busy looking at the rafters with all their freaking banners. We're going to win. It's going to be awesome. Thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate it. I'm PJ, and I'll see you next time on the Blackhawks Daily.